Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel, guys. Do not forget to subscribe. Great to see you. Today, look at that camera work. We're going to be doing a review of Vasco Prewash. So this is a product I'm really interested in. It's a Scandinavian product and it's a pre-wash in a ready-to-use format. So you don't dilute this down with water. If we go through and read you what it's all about. So pre-wash Thickotropic degreaser, Taikotropic, or whatever, however that's pronounced, is a unique, highly effective degreaser for cars and hard surfaces contaminated with asphalt, road salt, oil or other heavy dirt. The gel form makes it easy to apply and let set to achieve full effect. Also on vertical surfaces as it does not run off. Bit of translation woes there. This means less spillage from traditional fluid degreasers, which, you know, I'm paraphrasing, which are probably going to run off the car. Instructions for use: shake bottle well before use. Apply product to dry surface, spray a thin, even layer onto the surface, let it set for 5 to 10 minutes or even up to 30 minutes. So 5 to 30 minutes then, sorry, for a very ingrained dirt. Rinse with a water hose or high pressure washer. Always rinse from bottom up. Okay, I don't know why, but do not apply to rubber, plastic or freshly painted surfaces because it's probably quite powerful. Avoid applying direct sunlight. After using the degreaser, the surface is preferably washed. So wash it with Vasco wax shampoo or any shampoo, yeah? Recycle instructions, rinse the empty bottle, yeah, throw it away or whatever. Okay, so there you have the basics of the product, guys. A pre-wash designed at removing you know, tar and asphalt and oils. Why is that useful? Because getting that off can be a real pain. If you want to get it off, you're going to have to clay it off before you polish a car. And if you can melt it off with a chemical, then you haven't got to clay it all off and scratch it and miss bits and leave tar on your car. Also, if you're not prepping a car and you've got a nice car and it happens to get covered in asphalt and you want to get it off your car, you know, or bitumen, then you can use this to wash it off effectively. What are the alternatives to this particular product, John? Because this is really important. Well, historically, you've got a tar and glue remover like TARDIS, which will dissolve tar very effectively. APC is not really effective on tar, but I've included it in this product because it's a degreaser and it's the sort of thing that most people use. So I'm interested to see how it compares. And a citrus cleaner, because a citrus cleaner will also have limonene in it, which is reasonably effective at dissolving tar. Okay, so there's a little bit of history on it. You can really use these as pre-washes, although the TARDIS, you'd probably pre-wash first and then soak out with TARDIS. We'll talk about that later on. Now, it's really important to talk about price. Now, so what is it? This Vasco, we've covered that. I just want to shout out Paddy, Good Luggage Automotive Detailing, one of my patrons, who told me about this product years ago, and I've just getting around to testing it. So thank you, Paddy. Where is it sold? Well, in the UK, it seems to be being sold in Ireland. So I got this from Mark at Polish and Wax. It cost me £16, and they do ship to the UK, but it costs a couple of quid more. So it was about £6 to ship this over. So if you do want to get a litre of it, it's going to cost you a little bit more than you'd normally pay because there doesn't seem to be a reliable stockist in England. I've spoken to Imran about it. I'm not sure if Imran's going to stock it because I just don't know if there's any legs in it. I haven't even used it yet. So I like the idea of it, but you know, there might not be any legs in him stocking it. If there is, I will let you know about it and we'll put a link for it in there. Otherwise, you can get it from Polished and Wax and some other guys in Ireland. Now, I'm interested in the 5 litre price, guys, because you'll tear through a litre of this quite rapidly, I think. Now, let's have a look. So 5 litres of Vasco costs £47, which gives you a price per litre of about £9.40. Get your maths right, John. Now, Wax Planet Citrus, which is the one I've got here, that I'm using at 1 to 4, which is its heavy, you know, it's like its heavy, you know, usage. You can water it down more. Anyway, that costs 28 quid for 5 litres, and that gives me a price per litre of £1.12. So this Vasco is not cheap compared to a citrus, and citruses are normally very expensive because of the cost of the limonene, okay? Surfex HD costs £19 for 5 litres, but I use it around 1 to 10. So that costs me 38p a litre. So if this Surfex HD APC melts off this tar at 38p a litre, then there's not going to be much point in using the Vasco at £9.40 a litre, is there? I don't think it will though, but we'll see. Here's the interesting one, tar disc, because I expect this to be highly effective on tar. Costs £42 from 5 litres from Elite Car Care, and that gives you a price of £8.40 per litre, so it's cheaper than the Vasco. I'm not including delivery costs in this, okay? Just gives you a rough idea of cost. There's all your basic information. Forgive the sniffs. Now, let's go on and test this, guys. So here I have my dirt simulator. Here I have my tar simulator, okay? And here I have my test panel. Now she's brought me out a crumpet right when I said to her, I'm filming, don't come out. She brings a crumpet out. Anyway, she's being nice. So APC, Vasco, TARDIS, Citrus. We're going to put these on. These are all dry, these films. It's going to start raining. Whenever I test, it's going to start raining. I want to spray them on, but normally you see me tip them on. So I just have to be careful with cross-contamination here. If I don't spray this product, some of you are going to go nuts. It's also gel-like, so it's supposed to set, you know, and stay on the panel. So I want to see that. So I'm going to try not to cross-contaminate. As long as I wet the surface out, it doesn't really matter. And I've got little ribbons of string in here to stop it cross-contamination or minimise it. So what I'm going to do with the APC, it doesn't matter how much I use as long as I form a film. So let's put this on. That is going to wet that surface out. And in fact, it's quite nice to just go down the middle there like that. But you can see it wetting the surface. So if I just make sure I get some over here as well. So there's a film of liquid over that thing. Now we'll go over to the Vasco. It's got a little safety catch in it. Has it got a spray? So it's off. Is it just off and on, off and spray? Let's have a look. Don't want to waste this. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Right, now let's get the Vasco on here. You can see the degreaser already working. Right, she's going to start trying to... She's desperate. She keeps opening the door. She's desperate to disturb me. Whatever. Oh, why is it not working? Why is that not... Oh, it's gone into... That's bizarre. Let's spin that round. See if it's got a different spray over here. That feels really... Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, so the sprayer could be better. So let's just spray that down there. I just want to get it all over. This isn't wetting out like the Surfex. There we go. So we've got a good layer of that. It is gel-like. Very interesting. It doesn't have to clear the entire film, but I just want to see, because we've definitely got that product on there. So I'll know if that product is eating away. That's APC, that's Vasco. Now, this is the interesting one, because this Vasco, the Achilles heel might be the amount of time it takes to work. So let's just get this TARDIS going. Yeah, look at this. This is going to be the Achilles heel. This film is dry, okay? This tar film. Yeah, well, you can touch it, but it's dry. This bitumen film. That was interesting. It shows you how powerful the TARDIS is. And then let's get our citrus. And this is important as well. Make sure that's working. And soak it out with citrus. Wow, yeah, okay. So that's nice and soaked out. Now what I'm going to do is that we're just going to look at this panel, okay? We're just going to look at this panel. So the APC, if you can see this, is not, it's biting into it, but it's not, that film isn't like getting weakened too much, where I can see the grease and dirt is dissolved. At the moment, the Vasco hasn't done, you know, I can't see anything. I've got to leave it for its time, obviously. Oh, I'm getting dirt on my bloody... I'm the only person that puts dirt simulator on wearing Ralph Lauren clothing. You can see here the TARDIS just lifted. I'm just going to touch it. Look, just lifted the tar film off of there. The degrease is interesting as well. Yeah, I mean it's having an effect on the dirt simulator as well. And then the citrus, it isn't really doing it's not really effective. I think there's a little bit of overspray up there, but it seems to have broken down the degreaser a little bit. So what I'm going to do, guys, is what's the time? I'm going to leave that on there. I'm going to leave it for 5 to 10 minutes. Now, some of you are going to be screaming, you've got to leave it longer. So I have people in the comments saying you've got to leave this stuff overnight for it to be effective. A product that you have to leave overnight is not going to be very much use for professionals, okay? You know, the first thing you do when you get the car is you want to do the pre-wash and the clean. So you can't really, very rare you're going to get a car come in that comes in the evening and you'll be going to be able to put a pre-wash on it and leave it overnight. It's not going to be viable for most people. I wouldn't test that either. You know, it's just too unviable. Let's get my crumpet. What's she put on that? Peanut butter. Actually, at least she was thinking about me. So yeah, I'm going to test it for 5 to 10 minutes. But I'm reading that it needs, the more time you can give it, the better it works. And from what I'm seeing, that might be the case. That might well be the case. So we'll come back in 10 minutes and we'll rinse down, okay? Now you would normally shampoo down, wouldn't you? You'd shampoo down afterwards. But I want to see pre-rinse what happens, the difference between all these products, because it's consistent. So we're not getting a gauge of what it's going to do, you know, if you shampoo it. We're just getting a cross comparison of the other chemicals. We'll be back in a second. I'm going to eat this. I've got a little San Pellegrino. I'll be back. Doug. Okay, guys, we're back. I've eaten my crumpet. I'm going to rinse this off now. You can see it's interesting what's going on here. It's been somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, probably about 7 minutes, somewhere in the middle. I'm going to rinse the TARDIS off first. Okay, there's going to be also, I want to get this off first to reduce the cross-contamination, so I'm just going to blast this off. Okay, so the TARDIS really good on the dirt. Let's have a go with the citrus. The citrus really good on the grease. It's interesting, isn't it? But not very good on the tar. Most of that bits where it's coming off is overspray there, I think. Let's have a go at the Vasco, see what that's doing. So it's having a go at the grease. Interesting, isn't it? It's having a go. And the tar is coming off, but interesting. The APC blitz the grease, doesn't touch the tar. Boy, that's not too bad, but it's not breaking that tar down. It's done something to it though, which is interesting. Now, interesting, the citrus and the TARDIS are almost like opposites. The TARDIS was not effective on the grease, which surprised me. Now, the Vasco, let's just turn this around. I could feel like if I prodded the tar film, that the tar film was softening. And it does say on the instructions to leave it for 30 minutes. And everyone seems to be saying that you've got to leave this a little bit longer. So we've used, if I left this any longer, I'm going to get, the TARDIS is going to dry out, the APCs and the citrus are going to dry out. So within about 7 minutes, we're still in a viable window for all those other products and a viable window for the Vasco. So it's a fair comparison of what it does after 7 minutes. But if you're going to be using this Vasco, I think you're going to need to, on heavy, I mean, that's a film of tar. So, you know, that's heavier than you're going to get on a car. But if you do have a bad film of tar, then you're probably going to want to leave this for up to half an hour. And then you'll get, you know, you can see what it was doing. If we put it back on there, and it is like a gel, and we leave that for half an hour, I'm sure, in fact, I will come back and just overlay footage of me rinsing that off after it's had half an hour dwell, if it doesn't pour down with rain, and we'll see what happens. And I'm sure it will blast off both that grease film and that tar film. It just needs longer to work. So it's kind of what I thought. Here's the interesting thing. Here's the crutch of this. Here's the crutch of this in my simple head. if I have tar or glue or any of that sort of stuff, which generally can't be dissolved with surfactants, you know, always I tend to reach for Auto Smart TARDIS because it's incredibly powerful, and it also can be rinsed off the car because it's loaded with emulsifiers, so it creams up when you pressure wash it, and you can rinse it off. Which means with TARDIS, you could pre-wash your car, you know, get 99% of the dirt off, and then you could cover it with TARDIS, or you could shampoo it and then rinse it, and then cover it with TARDIS, and then rinse off, and then do your claying. Or, you know, if you don't want to clay the car, you're just treating it because it's covered in tar for whatever reason. You've driven through a fresh bit of asphalt and it's all up on the car. You could wash it, you know, TARDIS it, work the TARDIS and rinse it off, and it'll be very quick. And what I'm thinking is, if you had the same scenario with Vasco, you could use it as a pre-wash, spray it on, leave it, but you're going to have to leave it for a lot longer for it to do its thing. And in my head, is there any benefit to that milder thing? Is there any benefit to waiting half an hour? Is it safer than spraying around a pure hydrocarbon? Because I think it's water-based. Or is it water-based? I think it contains hydrocarbon. It's surfactants and hydrocarbon. I don't know if there's any water in it as well. So I don't know. Is there any benefit to that slower approach? Is it going to be safer on like aftermarket paintwork? Aftermarket paintwork or wheels, because you often get a lot of tar in wheels, and so it's useful to spray them into alloys. Well, the problem is the TARDIS is cheaper and it's quicker acting, and it can also be rinsed. So TARDIS is throwing a bit of a spanner in the works with my enjoyment of this product, because I can really see a good benefit to this Vasco, but I can't see the benefit on paper. But I love the idea of a pre-wash which melts tar. I just love that idea, especially the amount of times you've clayed and you've got that brown film on the car when you're claying. Well, you don't have to have that. If you use something like Vasco, it's going to soften all that down and get it off the car before you clay, which means less, you know, the more stuff you can get off with chemicals, the less you've got to drag off with the clay bar. And when you miss it with the clay bar, it's still there. So those chemicals are there to make your job easier and help you. And I think Vasco, for me, is going to do that. So I'm pretty excited about this product. But yeah, I guess from a review point of view, there's issues, but I'm still excited about it. I think it's a useful product, and I don't know of anything else on the market like it. And I think, let's talk about some of the benefits that a guy at home could probably get a lot of use out of this. You could argue that the professional will be more drawn to TARDIS because of that speed. But for guys at home, this could be a really good product to treat your car with once a year. Just pre-wash it with Vasco, leave it on there for up to half an hour, pressure wash it off and go and wash it. And you're going to deep clean your car. And that would work ideally if you're doing a prep wash on your car as well for full clay and polishing. It's going to really help. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes you do a product review and you raise issues, and I think the issues we've raised are valid, but I still really like the idea of this product, and personally I'm not too bothered if it's a bit slower than TARDIS. TARDIS is incredibly powerful stuff, and that's why lots of people love it. You saw, as soon as I sprayed it on, the melting effect was instant. But sometimes with that strength, there can be considerations. That might not be for everyone. It's quite an industrial product. So like I've said, this might be really good for guys at home. If you can leave this on the car overnight, like some people say they do, which, yeah, I've never done anything like that. Never left anything like that on a car overnight. I'm not sure if I'd ever do that, maybe in winter. But if you can give it a good amount of time, then you're going to get more benefits, especially if you've got heavy tar film, I think. Don't rinse it off after 5 to 10 minutes. give it longer if you can, and it will definitely work. And I'll overlay you the picture of that after it's had a half an hour dwell, which is going to be really, really cool, hopefully. Touch wood. So that is Vasco, guys. I'm giving it a thumbs up, and I'm saying that you should check it out. This is the type of product which I personally like. It's not a, you know, it's not a watermelon scented, you know, thick shampoo. It doesn't come in a blingy bottle. It's, you know, it's a product for a specific function that I think is going to come in useful, not just in Scandinavia, possibly in the UK, and it seems to be mega popular in Ireland as well. So I don't know if they've got problems with the roads over there, asphalt roads or something. I don't know. But it seems to be very popular in Ireland, and I can see why. So that's my review of Vasco Prewash. You need to check it out. And I hope this review has been useful. Thank you very much. Subscribe. Doug.